Hi, this is Tara, and this is your happy horoscope for the Capricorn season. So this year, Capricorn, well, every year, the sun moves into Capricorn at the winter solstice. This year it will be occurring on December 22nd. If you're into numerology, that's a very interesting number as well, 12/22, 2022. And the winter solstice is one of those extremes where we're moving out of complete darkness into the light. Or if you're, depending where you live in the world, you're moving out of a lot of light into some darkness. It's a gradual thing, but I feel like when the winter solstice happens, it brings with it so much light that even before you can see it, even before you know it's there, you can feel it. And it's one of my favorite times of the year, even though I am definitely not like a cold weather person at all. But just and like I said, some of you are experiencing warm weather. I'm very happy for you, and maybe just a little bit envious. But for those of us who right now it's getting dark at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you'll start seeing, when you're leaving work, when, the days are just, the sunlight just starts to grow a little bit longer. And with that, I think it brings us a really wonderful opportunity. I feel like especially now, especially as we're moving out of 2022 into 2023, there's just been so much going on, so much energetically. I mean, we've really lived through some very interesting times, and a lot of us have experienced a lot of changes or the beginning of transformations, and maybe even completed some. And although you never really complete a transformation, in my opinion, it's, cycles are always beginning and ending as soon as, like I said, we hit an extreme when there's more. It's the shortest day of the year. There's more dark than there is light, not technically, but that's how it's kind of described, is it's the shortest day of the year because of the amount of sunlight that we receive. But then the next day the sunlight starts to increase, so we're always living in those. There's a constant transformation going on. And Capricorn, we're moving out of the fiery Sagittarius energy, and we're moving into Capricorn. Practical, pragmatic. When I think of Capricorn, I always think about like that story of the ant and the grasshopper. The ants spending all their time preparing, and the grasshopper's just playing its little fiddle and doing its little thing and stuff like that. And then winter comes, and the grasshopper's like, what the heck? I don't have anything to eat. I don't have, the means to survive. And the ant's like, oh, I got plenty, because that's what I'm always focused on. I kind of feel like Capricorn energy is almost always in sort of a survival sort of a mode. It's kind of, like I said, it's very practical, very pragmatic. Capricorn energy is always kind of looking to be prepared. And so this is a good time for you to prepare. It's a good time for all of us to prepare. What are you going to prepare for? You are going to prepare for joy, for happiness, for whatever it is that you want. I mean, anything you want, anything you're dreaming of, anything you're working towards or manifesting, it all comes down to one thing. It's something that will bring you more happiness, more joy into your life. And we think about it, we work towards it, we plan for it, we envision it, we manifest it. But how well are you prepared for it? this is the perfect time for that, to start preparing yourself to allow all that stuff that you're working for, all that stuff that you want, all that stuff that will make you so happy to come into your life. And know that sometimes things are going to come that maybe aren't going to be what you expect. That's okay. You're prepared. If you're prepared for happiness, then you can find happiness no matter what. I know that's kind of how I try to think. It's not always easy. But if you prepare yourself to feel positive, to feel happiness, to feel, I just lost a card, to know that things are always working out for you, then that's what's going to happen. That's what you're going to allow. So as you're preparing, what came to me as I was meditating about Capricorn energy and what can really benefit us the most during this energy, 3 questions came to mind. So the first question is pretty simple. What do you want? What do you need? You probably already have that answer. Maybe you have lists, maybe you have vision boards, maybe you just have it in your mind, or you have photos, or whatever it is that you're working towards. You know what it is. That's great. You're ready to focus for it. And here's the second question. Have you made space for it? Think about that for a second. Have you made space in your life to allow what you want to come to you? That can be a little challenging with Capricorn energy, because Capricorns, again, they're all about preparation. They're all about being ready for anything. So that can make them a little bit of a hoarder, a little bit of a, all my money's in the bank and it's ready to save. I'm not going to spend it. It's kind of a, let's hold on to everything in case I need it. But when you do that sometimes, then you're not allowing space for new things to come in, for all those things that you think are off in the distance. Maybe they're not that far away. Maybe they're closer than you think, and you just kind of haven't made the room for them to come in. So have you made space to allow the things that you want to come to you? And if you haven't, how can you make that space? Emotionally, physically, spiritually, what kind of stuff are you holding on to that's just taking up room that really isn't serving you anymore? It's a good time to kind of maybe let that stuff go. I'm not always a big believer in releasing things, or I forget what the term is. Mostly because I believe that everything that happens to us, whether we perceive it as being good or bad, it's always in our best interest. It's always serving us. It's always bringing us. Everything that's happened has brought you to this point, and this point is wonderful. So why do you want to forget about that? You don't want to forget about it, but you also don't want to hold on to it so tight and make it your constant story. If you're telling a story about yourself, and that's really what our whole lives are, right? It's our story. If you're telling a story and you're telling the same story, then how can you start a new chapter? How can a new story begin when your novel, if you want to call it that, is all stuffed up with all the old stuff? Then you don't have room for the new stuff. Does that make sense? So ask yourself, have I made space to allow things to come to me? The things that I want to have more of. And if you haven't, now's the time to start doing it. And then here's the third question, and this one's maybe even a little bit tougher. Do you already have it? I know, maybe you're thinking to yourself, well, I want $1 million. I know I don't have $1 million, so I don't already have it. But the real question is, why do you want that $1 million? Because you'll feel safer, you'll feel secure, you'll feel happier, you can buy the vacation home in Hawaii, you can have a boat, you can do this, you can do that. Of course, we live in a physical material world, we want physical material things. Trust me, I'm totally with that. I love the material world. But is it really the $1 million that you're after? Or is it that feeling of security, of happiness? And maybe, do you have it right here and right now, and you're just not recognizing it because you're cluttered with other stuff? That's just something to consider. Maybe once you start removing some things, or once you start telling a different story, you might find that you uncover something that you already have, something that you're after, but you sort of find it and it's already there. Or maybe you rediscover it. Maybe you're looking for something that's been here all along, and you kind of rediscover it when you look at it in a different way, when you tell a different story. The way we perceive things, the way we talk to ourselves, the way we talk to other people, it can change everything. Think about how much better you feel when somebody says something nice to you. Like maybe you go to work and they're like, "Oh wow, you look really good today." Or you share some kindness. You're like, "Wow, that's awesome that happened for you. I'm so happy." It's that kind of thing that starts telling a new story, instead of one where, like for instance, I just did it myself, right? I said, "Oh, for those of you in warmer weather, I may be a little bit envious." What I should have said was, "I'm so happy for you, and I hope you're enjoying your warm weather and your palm trees and all that kind of stuff." I actually just got back from a quick trip to warmer weather. So I still kind of have palm trees on my mind. Anyway, okay, so, right, so the three things, just to recap, what we're doing is we're preparing for more happiness, more joy in our lives. We are focusing on what we need. We are making sure that we're going to make space for it. And while we're making space, we're going to look around and see if maybe what we're seeking is already there. And we just kind of need to uncover it. Maybe we need to dust it off, clean it up a little bit, freshen it up a little, and suddenly it's all shiny and new. Something else to think about with Capricorn. I love the symbol for Capricorn. It's the sea goat. It's such an interesting symbol, the sea goat. So I looked up some more information about the sea goat, and there's a lot of different mythology about it. It's a mythical beast that's half fish, half goat, sea goat. I think in some cultures it's called goatfish, but anyway, this is the one that really resonated with me, and to me it makes the most sense. The sea goat alchemizes water into earth material things. So if you consider your emotions, your feelings, that happiness, and that's all your sort of water energy, right? Sea goat can help you take that energy and turn it into what's around you, as it's drawing more of that kind of stuff to you. So in other words, the more happiness you're putting out there, the more happiness is coming back to you. That's what you want to do. You want to, it doesn't have to be specific stuff. It's all about creating the life that you want to have, but you might already have it and you're just not recognizing it. And the sea goat can help you recognize that. We're going to have our new moon in Capricorn on December 23rd. So that's an excellent opportunity to clean out the old, bring in some new, that kind of thing. Maybe, maybe take a little time to meditate on something that's important to you and see if it doesn't bring you a little bit, if you don't, See if maybe you get a new inspiration or some kind of new recognition of something that you've already got around you, and you're like, oh wow, you know what, that really is, that's what I've been looking for, and here it is. Another great opportunity, and I'll come back and we'll talk more about the full moon, is we'll have the full moon in Cancer, which is the opposite sign of Capricorn. So it's so interesting, right? You've got Capricorn, the sea goat. You've got Cancer, which is a water sign. Capricorn is an earth sign with a symbol that represents the water and the earth, because the two of them need each other. They nourish each other. Just like the energy, the water energy you put out, that nourishes your material things. That's what draws it all to you, and that's what creates it all. That's how you manifest more happiness, more good stuff, by using that energy, and the sea goat energy can definitely help you with that. Okay, so as always, I'm using, for our reading, I'm using the Chakra Zodiac Healing Oracle deck for our main. And then, because we are entering a whole new phase, I thought we would use the Gateway Oracle as our bonus card. See what kind of gateway that we're going through. There's been a lot of, a lot of energy going around with different gateways and stuff like that. So we'll see where we're going. Okay, so we're going to be in Capricorn energy. Practical, earthy. It's a good time for, preparation, cleaning out, gathering what we need, getting rid of what we don't need, and really assessing what is it, because you're preparing for your happiness. What is it that will bring you the most happiness? So let's look at the energy that's moving away from us. And that energy is, okay, so it's the heart chakra. That's love and relationships. So the energy that's moving away from us, I feel like in this case, because we're getting a little practical, okay? The heart chakra, your emotions, you want to use those right now. But you're going to, instead of holding on to them, you're going to put it out there so that it becomes more of like a practical thing. You don't want to let go of what you love. You want to focus on what you love, but you want to do it with a practical mindset, because you want to draw more of that to you. So, of course, enjoy the things, the people, everything that you love right now. But what you really want to do is you want to focus on the practical. Letting your emotions guide you, but not letting them overcome you. Okay, that's the message that I'm getting from this card. Okay, so the energy that we're presently in. Let's take a look at that. Oh, okay, so that's our ear chakra. Listen for guidance. Like I was just saying, this is the perfect time. This time of year, we tend to kind of, huddle in and kind of, stay home a little bit more and that kind of thing. And when you get that opportunity, it's a good time to go within and kind of with a, practical mindset, listen for guidance. Your own higher self, guidance from your guides, from your guardians, from your ancestors. There's all kinds of inspiration and guidance that's around you that may be trying to reach you, that you might be too cluttered up with other stuff, with that old story that you're not able to hear. And once you start clearing stuff out, the guidance comes through, and then you see what you can do with that guidance that you receive. That can be a really valuable tool. And it doesn't have to come just from, it could come from your next door neighbor, it could come from your coworker, from a family member, something like that. It's a good time for reaching out for help, and it's a good time for offering help. You might be the one who is offering some guidance, but it's definitely Capricorn energy is definitely about sharing resources, and you know, guidance is one of the most valuable resources that we have. Okay, and then where the energy is going to be taking us, oh my god, it's so perfect. Manifestation, earth. Okay, that's the goal. That's what you are preparing for. You are preparing to receive, to allow all those things that are going to change your story in the happiest, best possible way. And as we work through the energy, that's what's going to happen. That's what you're making room for. That's what you're preparing for. And that's where it's all going. So that's really nice. And then let's see what our Gateway Oracle, our bonus card is. Oh, dwelling in the truth. Well, I'm a Sagittarius, and I love the truth, sort of. It's a good time to be truthful with yourself and to be honest with yourself. And as you're going through those questions that we talked about, ask yourself, why do I want this? What is it going to do for me? How is it going to make my story, my life, my everything better? And if it's not, then why am I going after it? It can be really hard to be honest with ourselves. And I feel like this energy right now, especially as we're sort of still in the dark, but it's growing lighter, it's time to start really being honest with ourselves and taking a look at things and saying, you know what? Maybe that's not really what I'm after. This is what I'm really after. I feel like this whole energy is all about, it's about clarity, it's about allowing, and it's about preparing you for the happiness and the joy and the life that you deserve to have, because that's what all of us deserve to have. So I am wishing everyone a very happy Capricorn season. Happy holidays to everybody. Happy New Year. 2023 is going to be a fantastic year for everybody. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And I'm wishing you lots of love and light. And I will see you soon.